Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, you're happy with that?
I'm happy if you're happy.
I'm very happy.
Hello everybody, this is Amy from Chateau de Rosieres. Do you remember this, the scene of my plastering triumph, my first ever go at plastering, where I put pigment into facime as a trial, hopefully a permanent trial, for doing the plastering on the modern bits of the coach house. The ultimate aim is that we do the same plastering, because we like the colour, on this wall here, so that it blends in with the stones and this old building. But today, whilst Marc's away, I'm hoping to surprise him by doing a slightly smaller, but still very necessary plastering project, and just reminding myself of my innate plastering skills that I demonstrated before. If you remember from our coach house tour video, which I'll link to here, this is the downstairs of the coach house, which we get to by going outside, because in the future it's going to be a cafe, self-contained restaurant, event space that will be distinct from the accommodation upstairs. But when we move in, it's going to be our main living space, and there's something crucial has to happen before we can do that. What we have downstairs at the moment is working underfloor heating, we've got lights, we've got everything we need, but what we don't have is a loo that works. And this is going to ultimately be a public loo, so it's going to be on display, but it's going to be really useful for us to be able to have it, so we don't have to take the children all the way outside and back upstairs again. Now, when I was doing the plastering experiment, Marc got a little bit jealous and he took some of my mix and decided to have a crack at one of the walls down here, which he thought was less important. Don't tell him, but I'm not 100% pleased with the finish he did on this. It's all right, but I like my technique best. And we also need a really good kickstart to this renovation down here. So I'm going to, whilst he's out today, attempt to plaster this entire room and see what he says. If you remember, this is a very special type of plaster, which is a lime plaster combined with glue or kind of resin, which means that it'll stick to flat surfaces like the plasterboard in here. Now, not to diss my other half too much, but he's not always terribly careful, and when he put his on, the lime in the plaster dyed the chestnut wood grey, because we had all of our window frames and door frames and everything made in local chestnut wood to be traditional and historically appropriate, but it doesn't look great when it's got this on. So my job before I start is to mask all of the wood so we don't get any more of that happening. There's two things I'm scared of in this life, and that's spiders and heights, which means renovating an old building with high ceilings is fraught with terror for me. Bye-bye. When the plasterboard was installed, not by us, some of the plaster seems to have caught onto the wood And I think I need to get that off before I do any plastering. So before I mask that, I'm going to get a chisel and see if it comes off easily. I tried just with a little scraper to begin with. This is wood from our trees on the top. Sorry! I hadn't seen that one. Are you still recording that? Oh my goodness, I didn't see it. It's a French spider, so I'm going to transport it in a wine glass. Problem is I can't look at them whilst I'm catching them, or I freak out. And now I'm stuck up a ladder with a spider and a wine glass. And I want one leg for some reason. Oh dear me, oh dear me, oh dear me. Little break. There's a mover, that one. Oh my lord, there's about 4 of them up here. Oh. Oh. Have your freedom. Okay. I've got the worst of the smeared plaster or paint off. I've decided to get the rest off later with sander because it's quite possible I'll make mistakes as well and need to do it. I've also made the very brave decision not to get rid of any of the other countless spiders up here. We've come to an agreement that they're going to stay where they are. So it's going to be a bit messy. I'm going to put this on. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I've only mixed up a little bit because I'm going to do the window first, and it's good to get used to it. So you might remember from the plastering trial video, which I will link to above, that because this is a special type of plaster with a glue or resin in it, I don't need to prep the walls, I don't need to wet the walls, they will stick absolutely fine. This time I have the handy addition of a plasterer's board, which Marc discovered after letting me do the entire other one without one. If you remember, I'm trying to get that slightly rough feeling of real thick lime plaster. So it's deliberately not going on terribly smoothly. trying to be a bit creative with, I think I've got the wrong trowel and it won't fit into the corners. And so I'm using my fingers to smooth it into the cracks between the door frame, the window frame and the plasterboard. So yeah, this will be the only bit that we do in plain white with the Facime, which is what this is called. This brand will be its own bright lime white. And then that's just to reflect the window, the light from the window. And then the walls will be tinted with our natural pigments. The good news is my bucket was exactly the right size for this window, and so I've managed to finish that. The bad news is childcare calls, and children and lime plaster don't mix, so I'm going to have to call it a day today. So I won't be able to surprise Mark when he gets home, other than with a small window. He might be pleasantly surprised with that, and I'll just crack on with the rest of it tomorrow. As is usual around here, I have lost half my equipment. I've still not been able to find my plastering tool, my trowel, but Mark's gone to look for it.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good array of tools. It's not my original one, but I'm pretty sure I can manage.
I think this one should do
the corners. Brilliant, thank you. So regarding colour, we actually don't have a lot of the tabac left. I thought we did. But that plays into something I was thinking of trying, which is to try a bit of extra tint of another colour in here. And I'm not telling Mark, and I'm going to see if he notices when I do it. Because I thought it might be a nice chance to see whether we want to warm up the colour with a bit of pink for the big wall up there. Right, now I'm going to experiment with my pigments. It's really important to make a record of what we do for the pigments and the quantities that we're using, so that we can replicate it in future when we like something. And I'm sure I did it when I was upstairs, but I have no record of it. You always think, oh, I'll remember, and then you don't. I have a vague memory. In fact, I should probably watch back my own YouTube video, that I put in about 3 buckets for that as well, and about 6 scoops of this. But I'm going to see. I'm actually quite keen to do it a tiny bit lighter than upstairs anyway, because it's a dark space, and so we don't want it to be too in your face. And as I said before, I would really like to try some ochre rouge in there to pink it up a little bit and see if Mark notices and if we like the effect. 2. Right, that's obviously nowhere near dark enough, so I'm going to try another 3. Just quite like to be sat out here with a cup of tea in the sunshine, but I've got to go in and plaster. Ooh. Hello, my pepper. I'm going to start on this wall, mostly because it's really awkward for Adonis to film. No, because it's the least one you're going to see when you come in, and I want to check that the colour is right as I do it. And it's also up against the bit that Marc already did, and I want to check it doesn't clash too much with that, otherwise I'm going to have to redo all of that bit. Whoa, that is way too liquid. and it's really dark when it's on the wall. Oh, I hope I haven't done this too dark. Oh, I hope there are no professional plasterers watching me do this.
Are you nearly done?
Hello. No, not even slightly.
I need to install the door, so it better be quick.
What do you think of the colour?
It's beautiful. Why don't you plaster the wall rather than the floor?
I've discovered something this morning, that plastering is like driving. It should really not be done whilst very tired. I've been making some fairly fundamental errors.
Have you been drinking?
I was plastering here thinking, oh, I've protected everything, and then I went on the underside of the door frame with this, so I've been desperately scrubbing along the door frame, and I'm hoping I haven't irrevocably stained it.
I can see.
Is there anything we can do about it?
I'm afraid we need to replace the door frame. No, I think we can probably get it back with the acid.
Okay, I hope so. The other thing I did was I put too much water in, so it's a bit like trying to plaster with liquid and it keeps falling off. Oh yeah, so when I did the squidge, I was so focused on cleaning that I then stepped in the plaster that I put on the floor. And the cat keeps trying to get in the bucket of plaster, and it's all a bit
Try
like
using your sprayer if it's too liquid.
yeah, all the way over it. I'll need to go over it again to make it a bit sort of rustic once it's dry. Actually, it's starting to dry a bit. Do you like my general application?
It is beautiful.
Is it rough enough to look historic and authentic, and
it looks
smooth enough to look professional?
It looks both historic and professional.
My other fundamental error was in not starting at the top and working down.
Yeah.
Another thing that had I not only had 4 hours sleep might have been quite obvious.
Okay, so I'll let you get on.
Why don't you go and sort out the door, get it from the barn, and then hopefully I'll be done by the time you get back.
Okay. A couple of years ago, we bought whole loads of old wardrobes from a local convent in the village that closed down, and we had kept them in the barn waiting for to find their place in the chateau after the renovations. And I had an idea looking at this one, because this one has a really pretty front, but the back was actually not meant to be seen. It's just made of planks. It's quite rustic, and it's nowhere near as delicate as the front. So it was probably put inside the niche in a wall or something, where you would have only seen the front. And when I saw it, I thought I could reuse only the front and disassemble it, and use it as a door to hide all the technical parts, the water heaters in the coach house. So it's actually really simply assembled. It's only the front side is only held by 4 wooden plugs, on either side, And so it will be really simple to disassemble. All I need to do is push the plugs out, and the front should come separate from the rest of the wardrobe. So let's see. Just put this here. It's a very simple wardrobe. It's probably early 19th century, maybe late 18th. Probably also locally made, because there was a tradition in the village of cabinet making in the 18th and 19th century. So all the plugs are out. So now the front should come loose. Yeah, it is. It's coming up nicely. Ugh. Perfect. To need you out of the way, please.
You can take the step ladder if you like.
That's pretty well done.
Thank you.
Now I just need to put the frame in place and see how I can keep it in position. It has to go.
Ooh, very nice. That looks amazing. With the plaster in the background, it makes it all look much less modern and more old.
So my idea was to just screw some metallic brackets in the back and screw it onto the railing of the plasterboard. And I think it's probably actually the simplest solution.
Will the door be able to open fully if it's there?
Yeah. Well,
sure.
It should be. I don't know, we'll see when it's...
You could move it a little bit further over even.
It won't be a problem for opening. Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, you happy with that?
I'm happy if you're happy.
I'm very happy.
What do I win if you can't open the door? Fully.
You'll be able to say very quietly, I told you so. And what do I win if we can actually open the door?
You get a resounding well done from me. Is that satisfying enough?
Yeah, as long as it's sincere and not overplayed. I love that there is still some old newspapers that were used to line the back of the wardrobe door.
It's very restful watching the leaves falling.
Pardon?
I said it's very restful watching the leaves falling.
What?
Don't worry.
So now all the brackets are in place and I just need to screw it to the wall. Perfect.
Okay. Do you want some water? Come on.
Just need to put the doors and it's done. Perfect. I think it looks good. So now the test is to see if we can actually open the door with it being in here. So I'll put the door back. Perfect. So I can tell Amy I told her so. I told you so it opens.
Did you have to move it?
Do you like
Does it open fully? Oh, yeah, it does. Well done.
Thank you.
Done. Was that enthusiastic enough?
Medium.
Yeah, I love it. It's really cozy.
Should I remove the doors or pas?
No, it's all right. Oh, actually, yeah, the doors just in case. Well, this is it. It's all on the walls and it's looking all right. It wasn't terribly easy. I'm going to keep Marc out of here until it's dried so that he can hopefully not twig straight away that I went and put a load of pink in there. And we'll see what it looks like with the existing wall, hopefully in a couple of days. But I think it's starting to look really rather lovely already. My plaster is now dry. I've done some scraping, I've done some tidying up, and it's time to bring Marc in to see what he thinks of the finished result. Come and see my masterpiece.
That's a masterpiece indeed.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Look, I know it's not perfect,
Nearly.
and there's one join that I'm going to probably have to redo. But overall, do you like it?
Yeah, it makes it really nice and warm. I really like the wardrobe. It was a very good idea.
One thing I will say you're absolutely right about is putting white on the inside of the window. When it was drying, I thought it looked too much of a contrast, but now it just looks like that's the light reflecting off it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I felt quite strongly about that. And I'm glad you felt the same.
There was one thing I did though without consulting you.
Did you change the color by any chance?
I did change the colour. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very pink.
Did you honestly notice that?
Kind of, but I assumed it was because it wasn't completely dry.
It's basically, I did the tabac like we did before, and then I just added in a very small amount of ochre rouge, which is a warm kind of browny pinky thing. Yeah. And I just thought it went really nicely with the tiles, and it gave a warmer feeling, and I thought that if it looked nice down here, we might consider that upstairs as well.
Yeah, it's nice, it works, matches the tiles.
I think so, yeah.
Yep, well done.
Thank you very much. Never do DIY with a cat, because they have a tendency to walk in your plaster.